We're live. Good afternoon. We are playing with technology again today that keeps surprising us. And we are live in the press lounge. And my name is LD Robinson. I am the owner of Ladero Press, a publishing company. And we are live in the press lounge this afternoon with chef and author Tommy Centola. We had the opportunity of speaking with Tommy on Saturday. However, we had technical difficulties. And so we're back in the lounge again to spend a few moments with him concerning the release of his forthcoming cookbook, Creole and Cajun Comfort Food. So good afternoon, Tommy.
Good afternoon.
Well, we're really excited. And of course, we had a set of questions that we did on Saturday. Today, we're going to have a slightly different set of questions, but we will start with this one for sure. And that is, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been a chef? And where did you get your start?
Well, I'm originally from New Orleans, living in Arkansas after Hurricane Katrina. My first lessons with cooking started when I was 8 years old in my mother's kitchen. She allowed me to cook chocolate chip cookies by myself, which led me on a journey. And it's been a very pleasant journey. So I've been cooking for almost all of my life in one form or another.
That's pretty fantastic. I remember one of my grandmothers teaching me how to cook fried chicken, and my other grandmother teaching me about baking, and my other grandmother, my mom's mom, would always make me peaches and dumplings. And that is learning early about cooking is, I think, vital. One, obviously, for just day-to-day living, but I think knowing how to provide nutrition for yourself, even the sweet stuff, is very good. And you've got some really sweet stuff in your cookbook, front to back, I must say.
I've got a few of them in there.
Yes. Well, we are both very excited about Creole and Cajun Comfort Food launching this month. And is launching the Living the Life imprint. And it's the very first cookbook to come from this imprint. And what does it mean to be the first chef on this imprint? Hopefully, many more chefs to come, and obviously there won't be another first. You'll be the only first chef to launch this imprint. What does that mean? And giving us a cookbook that helps us to really make memories with our families and our loved ones and our friends. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's a tremendous honor that you trusted me to be your first cookbook. I can't put into words how excited I was to find that out. That the faith that you have in me to be your first representative just speaks volumes. I've always loved sharing my gift. Ideally, I'd love to open up a cooking school. I just haven't found the proper setting to do it in. Anybody can give cooking demonstrations, but I want a more hands-on type of atmosphere where people are actually doing the cooking themselves.
Oh, that's fantastic. Having had several cooking classes over the years, I would say that's one of the things I've always wanted to do, actually, was to go to culinary school. So, well, amongst the many things that I like to do, maybe one day I'll be able to come and join you at your school and learn about all those creams and other things. The science of cooking, right? There's a bit of a science to
it. Yes. Science plays a big role, and I guess that's part of, we talked Saturday about, the writing of the cookbook, and writing was never my forte by a long shot. in school. I was more to the science and the math side. And cooking requires a lot of chemistry and heat. And I guess that's the reason why I connected with it so well.
Yes, it makes a difference in the way a dish turns out, right?
Oh, it does.
You know,
It does.
like, heat, versus cool, and how much salt, and how things interact, how much yeast, all that stuff makes a difference. Last night I was cooking chicken, and my hip bumped the knob on the stove. And for some reason, I happened to look over, and my chicken was cooking at a rate that was quite fast. I was like, no, that's not supposed to happen like that. There's a method to it, right? Well, one of the things that we hear about cooking, particularly it being a science, is it's frequently stated that men do not pay attention to details. I certainly would say, after working with you on Creole and Cajun comfort food, that is not true, at least in certain aspects, right? It takes a lot of detail to get a recipe to consistently provide the desired result. A lot of the chefs that we have in American culture that we as people have connected to have been men. I mean, I don't know that there is anyone over the age of 40, maybe 45, who doesn't know Paul Prudhomme, right? I think that is, that sort of iconic Louisiana chef cooking. A man very bold about his cooking, and in that engagement with us. And so we have, as a culture, frequently gravitated towards men in the kitchen. And so how do you reconcile this school of thought that men don't pay attention to details, yet they are chefs in a lot of kitchens across the nation? A lot of our popular, celebrity chefs are men. How do you reconcile this, that they don't pay attention to you guys don't pay attention to details, and yet you headline a profession in which details are necessary?
Well, I would agree with the broad statement that men don't pay attention to details, but it also depends on the situation. I know my wife wishes I would pay attention to certain details a little bit more. But in the kitchen, when you're concentrating and you try, everybody's always trying to perfect the dish when you're in the kitchen, and it is the attention to detail that you've got to have, or you'll never reach that. Chef Warren LaRuth, probably the greatest chef I've ever come in contact with. He did not use measuring spoons for his recipes. He weighed out the amount of spices that he used.
Oh, wow.
Now he was a trained baker, and baking and savory cooking are two very different animals.
Correct.
Because baking, you've got to be exact, you got to be precise. But Chef LaRuth used that knowledge in his recipes to where, attention. Wow. I guess that's where I get my attention to detail from, was just watching what they did, and just to know that he was that precise in his recipes when he did them.
Wow, to weigh the spices. That is
exactly not measured. He weighed.
That is amazing.
Yes.
That is absolutely amazing. Wow.
That's probably why you've never seen an actual recipe from LaRuth's. He was a very generous man, but his restaurant recipes he was very protective of. And probably because a lot of it was weighed.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why he never did a cookbook of his own.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. I mean, in baking, we always know about, we weigh flour, um, we weigh certain things,
Right.
maybe even eggs we may weigh, right? It depends on what the recipe calls for and the desired result. So to weigh spices, I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah.
I really, that never really occurred to me. I will definitely have to try that. This is your second cookbook. And what about this cookbook makes it different from your first one?
This cookbook, it's night and day. Uh, my first cookbook was more or less the dishes that I was used to cooking in New Orleans, whether it be Italian, Cajun, Creole, uh, or good old American foods. Just just adapting to the situation I was in here in Arkansas. Whereas this second cookbook was concentrated on the Creole and Cajun cuisines. Uh, I was looking and testing and trying recipes. I guess that's why this has been a long 8-year journey for this. From the first day I said, okay, let's start working on a second cookbook until now.
Fantastic. Well, we're so happy to have you with us at Ladero Press. And I am delighted that you decided to come to us as well, that you decided we were the place for your new cookbook. And we certainly don't take it lightly. I don't take that lightly. And so we want to make sure that we provide a cookbook really that people will they'll hand it down to their children and say, you know what, you need to know how to make this Cajun mac and cheese. You need to know this king cake recipe. There are certain, I think, with all the personal stories that are involved in the book, the way you've introduced dishes, that makes such a large difference in the feel of a cookbook to me. I think I would say I'm a cookbook collector. And so I am very interested in having this cookbook in my collection. But also, I'm interested in treating my family and friends to recipes from this cookbook. And of course, I'll be able to say these are from Chef Tommy from Living the Life imprint, right?
Right. Well, with I'm hoping during this time that we're in that families are taking the time to get together. They're reconnecting. They're cooking. They're sharing meals.
Mm-hmm.
I have 6 brothers and sisters. So growing up with a large family, and we were going to eat together at the table. It was a rather big table, and I don't know how my mother did it. It was like cooking in a restaurant every single night. Well, the good thing is it was, okay, this is what I'm cooking. It's not, unfortunately these days, there's no, you eat this or you don't. It's not like, well, what else, eat this or we'll run the McDonald's. McDonald's was not a thing back then. So, I just hope that people can, use these recipes to reconnect with their family. And if my stories help if it helps one family, I've done what I've set out to do.
I think you will accomplish your goal. I don't have any doubt about that. Food is serious business. Everybody is, from the moment we found out, I guess you could have it your way, right? Food became very serious. I want that with lettuce, no mayo, or, in my case, no ketchup. I'm going to take ketchup on my burgers. Once we found out we could have it our way, as the slogan is, what does that level of seriousness about food, even at a fast food level, takes things to um, it puts it sort of in a different category. And throughout your cookbook, you share what it was like to taste a certain dish. And I'd really like to know, what is the single most delicious thing you have ever put in your mouth that made you swoon? What dish was that?
Well, to pick out a single dish would be hard. I mean, of course, anything that my mom made has always been special and will always be special to me. Um, as far as a savory dish, it would probably be, again, from the Ruth's restaurant, crab meat St. Francis, the appetizer.
Oh, wow.
It was a wonderful. Matter of fact, I've taken my take on that recipe and converted it into a crawfish St. Francis for this cookbook. As far as savory, that's probably that. As far as a sweet dish, my mother's fudge pie is always been her most requested recipe. And to this day, I still can't get it exactly the way she made it. I don't know what it is. I have the recipe. I follow the recipe. Nobody in my family has been able to make it exactly the way she has. We've come close. Come close, but nobody's ever made it that way.
Probably a dollop of mother's love.
More than likely. And then if I had to come up with a dish of my own, it would probably be my white chocolate bread pudding. I've taken my take on bread puddings a little different from everybody else's because I use croissants for the bread as opposed to bread, which gives it a flakier texture. And
also a lot more decadent too.
and you can't go wrong with white chocolate.
That's actually one of the recipes that I'm very interested in trying.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
I've decided that I will probably make it for Christmas.
Right. I do a lot of white chocolate for my wife and I. And but the white chocolate bread pudding is one I'm proud of. And my white chocolate creme brulee, I've actually taken all the ingredients and my torch with me on family vacations because it's been requested.
I can understand why. Reading that recipe and having made creme brulees before, I couldn't get my torch just right, so I had to put it in the broiler. But I'm going to practice with my torch because I think this one deserves a torch.
I just upgraded to a heavy duty torch about a year and a half ago, and it makes a big difference.
Oh, please send me the brand information. I'd appreciate that.
Well, the thing is, you just go to any hardware store. I think I actually picked this up in Walmart. It's just a cylinder with the attachment.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Well, because I got mine at a hardware store and I wasn't. So, all right. Wally World it'll be.
It works perfectly.
Well, we are truly excited, and thank you for joining us a second time for what appears to be a much better internet connection this time.
Most definitely.
So thank you for being so gracious to take time out of your day to join us again in the press lounge. And we want to remind everyone that Chef Tommy's cookbook, Creole and Cajun Comfort Food, is currently on sale for pre-order, and we will be offering a limited edition hardback in this first release of his cookbook. So you'll have an opportunity to get a limited edition of his cookbook, and shipping will begin in early October. We want to remind everyone that things are a little different now because of, the impact of the virus upon printing companies. And so our printing times and getting things back up and running has definitely, our print and ship times have increased dramatically from earlier this year with our distributors. And so you order your book, we haven't forgotten about it. It'll be coming to you. We plan to start shipping in early October, all things going well, and get this wonderful cookbook in your hands, Creole and Cajun Comfort Food by Chef and author Tommy Centola, who will be introducing Ladero Press's Living the Life imprint this month. So thank you again, Chef Tommy. I hope you have a wonderful day. And we will see everybody on the 26th of September, 12 noon, as we invite author Angie B. into the press lounge. Have a wonderful afternoon. Happy writing, everybody. And we'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.